employers can also deduct your wages if you come to a written agreement about it. So let's say there's a course that you want to take and the company says, sure, we'll cover the cost of tuition on the condition that you agree to pay a chunk of it back if you quit within, let's say, 3 months. And part of that will probably say something like, we'll also deduct a chunk of that from your final paycheck. Now, there are very strict rules around how to structure these agreements, and if there are any issues that I'm about to go over, then the whole thing becomes void and the employer cannot recover from you by deducting your wages. The first rule is that the dollar figure has to be very clear. So it's either a straight $500, for instance, or there's a very clear formula on how to calculate it. So what wouldn't be permitted is a general reference to recovering the cost of your training, because that's vague, right? We don't know if that includes the cost of transportation. What if it's out of town and you have to stay at a hotel, meals? None of that's clear. So that kind of vague statement will render the whole thing void. The other thing to keep in mind is that the agreement has to be very clear that you're agreeing to a deduction. It's not good enough to just agree to an IOU. So a statement like, I acknowledge that I owe the employer $500, that will not permit a wage deduction. Now, the last point to bear in mind is that this has to all appear in an actual agreement. So that's a contract. It doesn't count if the employer just points to a manual or a handbook in the workplace and says, well, we have a policy here that lets us do that. That doesn't count.